I'm excited to chat with you because you have some wonderful new music out, Callum. I'm curious, how do you tend to describe the sound that you make? Is it just country, or do you have a little twang to it that you feel like you add to it? What is it the way that you describe the music you make?
Well, yeah. First of all, thanks for saying that. I think we definitely have a bit of a southern rock thing going on throughout the music as well. It's definitely rooted in country. And when I first started singing, really, I was in Texas, and I just was copying what my friends sounded like out there, and so I kind of accidentally downloaded a country accent when I sang, and I've just been obsessed with it since. And yeah, I think, we wanted to write and produce some good country stuff, but definitely with that kind of element of rock. I grew up listening to a lot of rock music, so within this EP, there's definitely, a lot of hard-hitting drums and big electric guitar licks, which I love. I love that style, and I'm really happy with the way everything's turned out.
I mean, if Keith Urban can pull off an Aussie to country accent, why not Scottish to country? I think it's only fair.
Well, that's I keep saying every generation needs one guy with a weird accent. So I'm trying to make that me.
I mean, it does flow. See, like so, all of a sudden we'll be talking, and then it goes from Scottish to country to country. I'm sure people
Oh no, I know. I'm such a sellout. It's like
know.
whenever I'm back in Scotland, I sound way more Scottish, and then
Well, that's
I come
only
back over
fair.
here, and it's like subconscious. I just slip back into this like country hybrid,
What
and
does your
now,
mom
now,
and friends think when you come back to Scotland and you like suddenly you're like, y'all come over here?
Oh my God, yeah. Everyone just makes fun of me. Everyone's like, y'all, really? Y'all? Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, you guys. I mean, yeah,
Sure.
that's what I mean. Yeah, everyone thinks it's, but everyone from back home is, they're all buzzing about how everything's going, and they're all coming over to visit, and so it's really fun. All my friends and family are very supportive, and it feels nice. They're definitely embracing it, even if they make fun of me a little bit.
Well, who were some of the artists then that you were influenced by growing up? You mentioned having sort of a rock base.
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I listened to a lot of Green Day and My Chemical Romance and Nickelback and Fall Out Boy, into my teens, Paramore and God, I mean, there's too many to mention, but it was all that kind of like pop punk, emo rock, that kind of stuff, and I loved all that music. I just could never play it on the guitar, so I just never really tried to play that kind of stuff. And then I moved to Texas when I was 17, and I really got to liking, I've mentioned these guys a bunch of times, but Jason Aldean and Dierks Bentley, and like Jason Isbell, and when I first got to Texas, Zach Brown Band were just starting to go kind of mainstream, and guys from Texas like Parker McCollum and Cody Johnson, they were really building their empire, and I just got obsessed with it. And the country's a lot easier to play on the guitar, so it was a lot easier for me to play. And then, I started singing, and that was it. That was the beginning of the journey.
I love All Out of Me. What kind of fan response have you been receiving to the single?
So far so good. The people who listen to all the songs are the fans are really loyal. Once they like one song, they'll typically keep listening to the next one. So I've had a really great response, and it's quite nice because it's been a slower burner than some other songs. So some other songs peak right when they're released, and then they come down, which is kind of normal. But this one's still kind of seeming to go north. And so we'll see. It seems to be doing well. We're going to keep pushing it on social media, and doing our thing, making content, and trying to get people to listen to it for 20 seconds, so they go, "Oh, I'll go check that out on Apple Music or Spotify, or YouTube or wherever they listen to music." So I think it's a two-sided thing. We need to do our job to make sure people get a chance to know that it's out, and the fans are amazing, and they've been listening, which is all I can ask for is that I'm putting out music that I enjoy making and listening to, and I just hope that other people do as well. So I'm grateful for everyone that does listen.
I know the song was co-written by you and Dustin Lynch. Where did the concept come from? And I'm sure you've gotten plenty of fans going like, "Yep, the minute I met my soulmate, the world changed, and I wasn't like a playboy anymore. I wasn't, like going out to the clubs and I."
So that song, so I actually didn't, I wasn't in the writing room for that song. We call it an outside cut. So the song, I believe, was written. Dustin Lynch was in the room with two other writers, and they decided that it would be, I don't know if they just didn't cut it at the time, or if I don't know exactly what the situation was, but they pitched it to me. It was Andy Albert and Jimmy Robbins that he wrote it with. And they pitched it to me, or at least their publishing house pitched it to me. And it was actually, we did a whole pitch meeting, and it was, I think it was like an hour long. We listened to the first verse and chorus of about 60 songs basically. That was the first one they played, and I was like, love it. That's a yes. Let's hear that. And then, it was quite nice because not a lot of the other a lot of the other songs were great, but none of them were just quite as perfect for me as that one. And so that was the one that we took from that pitch meeting. And yeah, I'm so glad Dustin, and his team allowed me to cut it. And yeah, we'll see what happens from here. But yeah, I was blown away by it when I heard it, and I couldn't wait to put my vocals on it.
All right, you have this incredible EP, Roots Under Me. What are some themes you explore on it?
So it's pretty traditional country topics. We've got the heartbreak, we've got the drinking, we've got the drinking because you're happy and drinking because you're sad. We've got love, and my next single, gets whatever gets you there, is a little bit less of let me tell you how much I love you, and let me tell you how much I want to make love to you, which is they're always fun songs. And yeah, I think we've got a song that kind of is called I used to love this town, and it's about you know looking at your hometown and being like, this used to be the best place in the world until we all grew up and people move away and you get your heart broken, and it's not the same place as it was. You don't see it in the same light. So I think we got a good broad spectrum of topics, um, under our belt for the first one, and the plan is to really push this and see how far we can take it, and then on to the next one, and find some more things to write about and sing about, and just keep doing this for as long as the train will roll.
Are you able to tease some of your favorite tracks, ones that hold a special place in your heart from Roots Under Me?
Yeah, so I think the two that I mentioned, whatever gets you there and used to love this town, are great. I have one called Silver Linings coming out, which I think is that's like my fun song, is the fun drinking song, and it's basically just about why beer is sold in a can. That's the silver lining, and it's just about, it doesn't matter how bad life gets, you can always just have a beer and chill out. When I first, my idea for the song was that we would play it at music festivals and people would be like, hell yeah, I love drinking beer. And so I'm looking forward to playing that one. I got CMA Fest coming up next week, and I'm definitely going to play that one in the sun with a beer in my hand.
All right. You got invited to make your Grand Ole Opry debut this summer. Where were you when you found out, and what was your reaction?
So I was on stage at Dirks Bentley's, and I just finished playing a show for Whiskey Jam, and I was wrapping up cables just to let the next band on. And Dustin Lynch came on the big monitor behind me and invited me to the Grand Ole Opry, which was just crazy. I'm a fan of Dustin Lynch's music, but also just of him as a person. He's a real hard worker, and no one's got anything bad to say about him in this town. So, for him to do it was amazing. And then as for the Grand Ole Opry itself, I mean, it's the coolest place to play your songs in probably the world if you're in country music. So I'm just deeply honored, cannot wait, and a little bit nervous. I got friends and family and loads of people traveling over to see my Aubrey debut, and it's gonna be a wild night, I think. And yeah, I think I just can't be anything more than just thankful and just grateful and I kind of can't believe that it's happening yet, but just another step in the right direction on the old country music trail.
We've seen you in some incredible on-screen projects as well. Do you have some favorites that you were a part of? I'm sad that Wheel of Time got canceled recently too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sad about that as well. That was, I didn't have such a big part in that. So I feel worse for the all the characters that were season regulars, and season three was so highly rated. They never told me, so I found out online with everyone else like on Friday there. But it was a great show. Everyone put all the effort they could into it, and it was sad. But I think definitely in terms of my favorites. The Wheel of Time was very cool, but I didn't have much to do on it. I had a great time being there, but I definitely prefer to have, meatier roles if I can. And I had a really great time filming One Piece, which I don't know when season two is going to come out. Um, they've not told us that either, but whenever that does come out, I'm really looking forward to people seeing that because I think that was a definitely a juicier part with a lot more substance than some of the stuff I've done before. And it's a beloved character from a top selling manga and one of the longest running anime shows of all time. So I'm really looking forward to people seeing that. And I don't know if we're going to do another season, but I'd definitely love to of One Piece. And then Virgin River was great as well because it was the complete opposite of that, and it was it's kind of drama, you know, romantic comedy type thing, and I hadn't done that for a while, with One Piece and Wheel of Time, and those things are a little bit more action based. So I had a great time. I just if I could again, with Virgin River, I don't know what their plans are for future seasons, but would love to keep doing that. And those are definitely two of my favorites.
You have an incredible voice. Are there some artists you would love to collaborate with in the future?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's almost no one I'd say no to, but me and my fiance have been listening to. There's an artist here. I was just saying this in another interview, but there's an artist here in Nashville called Caitlin Butts, um, and she's not up and coming. She's definitely like reasonably well known, but I think she's pretty close to being super famous, and her music is just amazing. I'm a huge fan, and as is my fiance. So maybe we'll try and convince her to do a song with us one day. And I'd love to collaborate. There almost no one in country that I wouldn't collaborate with, or if anyone. But outside of that, I'd love to do something with the people that I liked growing up. I'd love to do something with I don't know, like Paramore or someone just like completely out of the country game.
One of those bands that you grew up, you said listening to.
Yeah, exactly. And I think female and male vocals are cool together on a duet. But I also, I grew up listening to John Mayer as well, and I really like Leon Bridges from Texas. And if I could get a chance to collaborate with either of them, I would jump at it. But who knows what the future holds? If any of them end up seeing this or watching this or seeing the article, hit me up.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible music you make?
I mean. Other than just thank you so much. I think, keep your ears and eyes peeled. I'm definitely going to play some shows on the road this year, and we've got more music coming, more shows. I just, I couldn't do any of this if no one listened to the music in the first place. So, step one is people listening, and so I'm just so grateful that people actually decide to, when they wake up in the morning on their drive to work, they push that Callum Kerr song, and it's an honor for me to be, uh, you know, in over their car stereo, coming over their car stereo. So, yeah, thank you so much to anyone that's ever listened or followed or kept up with everything that's going. And I promise there's more to come. It's going to get even bigger and better.